23 million people, more than 170 countries. One online petition with a goal of 5 million signatures ended up exploding across the internet, coming within 1 million names of breaking a world record that has stood since 1997. This is the unbelievable story of Argentina out, the petition that turned one of the biggest World Cup controversies into one of the most talked about online protests ever. By the time the 2026 World Cup reached its final week, Argentina's run wasn't just about football anymore. Everywhere people looked, the conversation kept coming back to controversy. There were heated debates over disputed penalty calls, non-stop discussion about the referee picked for the semi-final because of his perfect record in matches involving Lionel Messi, and even Egypt's Football Federation officially raising concerns with FIFA over the officiating after their knockout exit. The pressure and attention just kept growing. When Argentina stepped onto the pitch to face Spain in the final, a massive online movement was already gaining serious momentum. Its message was simple, loud, and impossible to ignore. The petition, called Argentina Out, was hosted on argentinaaut.com and pushed one clear demand: remove Argentina from the tournament. The campaign claimed FIFA and several match officials had shown favoritism toward Lionel Messi and Argentina throughout the competition, with supporters arguing the tournament's outcome appeared to be heavily influenced before the opening whistle was even blown. The petition didn't hold back with its message. It asked a question that quickly spread across social media: why should the rest of the football world even compete if the champion had already been decided? It also called for Argentina to be permanently removed from future World Cups, claiming that every other nation deserved what it described as a fair opportunity. Launched during the final stretch of the tournament, the organizers originally hoped to reach 5 million signatures. That goal didn't last long. The numbers exploded at an unbelievable pace. In just 1 week, the petition surged past 23.3 million signatures. To be exact, it reached 23,316,108 supporters from 170 different countries. Tracking reports showed it came incredibly close to setting a new Guinness World Record for the most signed petition in history. That record has been held since 1997 by the Jubilee 2000 campaign, which called for debt relief for some of the world's poorest nations and collected just over 24.3 million signatures. That meant Argentina Out finished less than 1 million signatures away from surpassing a record that had stood untouched for nearly 30 years. No matter where people stood on the petition itself, those numbers grabbed worldwide attention. For comparison, most online petitions never get anywhere near that level of support. Even campaigns tied to politics, humanitarian causes, or environmental issues usually don't reach more than a small fraction of 1 million signatures. That makes the scale of this campaign stand out in a huge way. What made this petition explode to such an unbelievable level? After all, it wasn't about politics, global economics, or a humanitarian crisis. It was centered entirely on outrage surrounding one football tournament, yet it still grew to nearly the same size as a worldwide campaign that pushed for debt relief for entire nations. That alone shows just how intense the reaction became. The biggest reason wasn't one controversial call. It was the way controversy seemed to build throughout the tournament. Fans watched Argentina benefit from several decisions that sparked heated debate during the knockout rounds. On their own, each incident might have been dismissed as the kind of refereeing argument that happens at almost every World Cup. But when people started putting those moments together, match after match, they created a story that many supporters simply couldn't ignore. Then came the semi-final against England. Before the match had even kicked off, attention had already shifted toward the referee because of his unbeaten record in games involving Lionel Messi. That statistic became another major talking point and added even more momentum to the online debate. The Argentina Out petition leaned heavily into those frustrations, arguing that the tournament no longer felt like a completely open competition, but instead appeared, in the eyes of its supporters, to be moving toward a result they believed had already been shaped. Whether that argument matched everything that happened on the pitch is still open to debate. But one thing was impossible to ignore. It reflected how a huge number of football fans around the world had started to view Argentina's journey to the final. Once a certain perception spreads across millions of people, it can take on a life of its own. Even when opinions differ, that shared belief can become just as powerful as the events people are arguing about. Then came the World Cup final, and everything changed. For many of the people who had signed the Argentina out petition, this was the moment they believed supported their frustrations. Spain defeated Argentina 1-0, with Ferran Torres scoring a dramatic winner in the 106th minute of extra time. That goal secured Spain's second World Cup title and brought Argentina's tournament to an emotional end. But the football itself quickly stopped being the biggest story. Moments after the final whistle, tensions boiled over as players from both teams became involved in a heated confrontation. Leandro Paredes was shown a red card after grabbing an opposing player by the neck during the incident. The drama didn't end there. During Spain's trophy celebration, several Argentina players turned away and did not acknowledge the medal presentation, despite Spain having formed a guard of honor for them just moments earlier. Those scenes immediately sparked even more discussion and added another chapter to an already controversial tournament. Within hours of the final whistle, FIFA confirmed it would launch a disciplinary investigation into what it described as disgraceful scenes after the match. That announcement quickly became another major talking point. For the millions of people who had already signed the Argentina out petition, the dramatic ending to the tournament seemed to reinforce the concerns they had been raising throughout the competition. Instead of seeing the chaos as an unexpected twist, many supporters felt it matched the tensions that had been building for weeks. Not long after Spain's victory, the petition's organizers officially closed the campaign and posted one final message. They claimed FIFA had ignored the millions of people calling for action, but argued that Spain's victory had delivered the outcome they had been hoping to see. The message ended with a simple statement: "Thank you, Spain." It was a striking way to close a petition that had spent days criticizing football's governing body, ending instead by pointing to the result on the pitch as the conclusion its supporters believed they would never receive through official action. At the same time, it's important to understand what a petition like this can and cannot do. 23 million signatures is an incredible number and shows the scale of public attention the issue received. However, the petition itself was not evidence that officiating was biased, nor did it carry any legal or disciplinary authority. FIFA and its disciplinary bodies were not required to act because of it. In the end, campaigns like this mainly reflect the strength of public opinion rather than serving as proof of the claims being made. Petitions like this can have a huge impact on the conversation. They can bring worldwide attention to an issue, increase public pressure, and show just how strongly fans feel about a particular situation. But they don't have the authority to change tournament results or remove a national team from a competition. Throughout the World Cup, FIFA never issued an official response to the petition's demands, and football's disciplinary rules do not allow a country to be expelled from the tournament simply because millions of people signed an online campaign, no matter how large that number becomes. Even so, the size of the petition was difficult to ignore. A movement that came within 1 million signatures of becoming the largest petition in recorded history goes far beyond a small online protest. It showed that the debate had spread across the globe, and that frustration over the tournament had reached an extraordinary level. Whether people agreed with the petition or not, its scale became part of the wider discussion surrounding FIFA and the competition itself. The petition also arrived alongside a series of other controversies that kept adding pressure to football's governing body. There was Egypt's formal complaint, Belgium's disputed elimination, the debate surrounding Balogun's suspension, criticism from UEFA, and Javier Tebas, the president of La Liga, publicly calling for Gianni Infantino's resignation while criticizing FIFA's internal election process. Added to all of that was a campaign backed by more than 23 million people from 170 countries, all putting their names behind a demand that Argentina should no longer be allowed to compete on football's biggest stage. Whether any of those demands were ever realistic is a completely different question. The real story wasn't whether Argentina was actually going to be removed from the World Cup. It was the fact that more than 23 million people felt strongly enough to add their names to the campaign. That level of worldwide engagement is almost unheard of for a football-related petition, and showed just how emotional and divided the conversation had become. The controversy also highlighted how quickly social media can shape the narrative around a major sporting event. Every disputed decision, every viral clip, and every heated debate added more attention to the campaign. As those moments spread across platforms, the petition continued gaining momentum, drawing in supporters from country after country. What started as an online protest turned into one of the biggest football discussions of the entire tournament. In the end, the Argentina out petition didn't change FIFA's rules or alter the tournament's official outcome. But it did leave behind something that will be remembered for years, a remarkable example of how millions of football fans can unite around a single message, whether others agree with it or not. Long after the final whistle, the petition remained one of the defining stories of the 2026 World Cup, proving that sometimes the biggest battles in football happen just as much off the pitch as they do on it. What makes this story even more remarkable is that it wasn't driven by one country alone. The petition attracted signatures from 170 different nations, showing that the debate had spread far beyond Argentina's biggest rivals. Fans from every corner of the football world joined the discussion, each bringing their own opinions about the tournament and the decisions that had dominated headlines from start to finish. For FIFA, the tournament became about much more than lifting a trophy or celebrating a new world champion. Questions about refereeing standards, transparency, and trust in the competition continued to follow the organization well after the final ended. Every new controversy added another layer to an already intense conversation, making it one of the most heavily debated World Cups in recent memory. Years from now, many people will remember Spain's victory and Ferran Torres' extra-time winner, but they'll also remember the online campaign that captured global attention and became one of the largest petitions ever created. Whether people viewed it as a justified protest or simply an expression of frustration, its impact on the conversation was impossible to ignore. It became another reminder that in modern football, debates can spread across the world in a matter of hours, turning a single tournament into a story that reaches far beyond the 90 minutes played on the pitch. None of these moments alone is enough to force FIFA into action. But when they are all placed together, they create a much bigger picture, one of a football organization dealing with serious questions about public trust. It wasn't just about one penalty, one referee decision, or one controversial moment. It was the build-up of events throughout the entire tournament that left a large part of the global football audience feeling like the competition had not been completely fair. For Argentina, the Argentina out petition became another chapter in a tournament that was supposed to be remembered as a historic run from a team chasing greatness. Instead, the story ended with a painful defeat, a disciplinary investigation still hanging over the aftermath, and a worldwide protest movement that came incredibly close to becoming the second most signed petition in internet history. Whether you believe the petition was justified or completely out of line, one thing is clear: the 2026 World Cup created a debate that will not disappear overnight. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think the controversy was blown out of proportion, or did FIFA have serious questions to answer? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with other football fans who want to know the full story. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.